A little bit cold. It's not really cold. It's just a little cool. Long Labor Day weekend. I'm going to work. And I don't want to stop at the station if I don't got to, because I can take 10, 20 more minutes at 6:55. I got just a little bit of gas. I think I got enough gas to make it. I probably should stop and get some gas. I just don't want to, because 6:55. I'll probably get to Alamo at 7. I don't really want to leave Alamo at 7:10 to get to Vidalia at 7:30. I think it takes. I think the whole trip total is 40 minutes. I think technically it's like 39. So I almost drove 10 of those. Hey Wade, good morning. Going to work. I'm gonna try and I forgot what I dreamed. I was trying to remember. I had an extra long weekend, had a Monday off. I did not feel like waking up, but I did. But now I got, and it's kind of like, you get that Monday off, but then you come back in for the next week, and it's a shorter work week. You're only working Tuesday to Friday. So that's pretty cool about Labor Day. I have worked for some places where you work on Labor Day, but you get it off here. I hit my 200 subscribers last stream, which is partly why I'm tired, because I had like 198 subscribers. So it's like, I'm going to go live and get to 200. And I did, but I didn't know I had done it when I went to sleep. I didn't. People told me they subscribed. I didn't do the math in my head to keep up with it. Thank you for. It's looking like. I think I do need to stop and get gas. I don't want to, but I think I need to. Not only I'm just like a little bit in front of me. It's like sometimes you go in this gas station in Alamo at this time of day, they'll be in the office or somewhere else or making pizza. And when they see a customer come in, they don't like go straight to the register. They finish doing whatever they're doing first. And I ain't got time for all that, really. Thinking that. Excuse me. Silver might shoot back up. Probably will. $7. My brain's not all here. I'm still not all the way awake. I ain't really thought of anything to talk about. I'm just going live because this is time that I've got to go live. I didn't prepare any last night. I didn't prepare anything to talk about. because my phone died on the way back. And last night when I was walking back home, man, right when I got before Ryan's property right there, you could hear the coyotes really loud. And I wish I would have got it recorded so you could hear the coyotes. And then the microphone did pick up the owls. I'm eating gas in Alamo. I might in Glenwood. I might not. It's Gaslight. I might just wind up getting gas after work. I noticed when I was in Vidalia to come into the shop, like after we left that Savannah job, how a lot of the houses, it's like each brick house that was built beside another brick house, they wanted to do it a little different, change the color in brick or the pattern of the brick. There's almost not two houses that are the same. There's a lot of brick houses, but they're all a little different. There's some parts of the town where there's apartments and stuff. I'm not talking about that, but on the main street, if they couldn't get a different style of brick, like a different pattern, they just paint the brick different colors. I wonder what they got for us today to do at work. Whether it's rolling doors or garage doors. Pan system probably got finished by no MB, and if it did, they're probably not going to need me and Gabe's help today. We might have finished that whole job Friday. I just don't. No, we didn't. We was missing some pieces. We would have probably finished it out, but we was missing some kind of pieces to join the gutter together. That tree's leaning bad. It's gonna fall. After that Hurricane Helene, they got everything cleaned up and everything, but there's so many leaning trees that are leaning over a house or a power line or the road, and they keep, one by one, they fall over. So the damage isn't really over from the storm yet. And then a lot of this timber's no good because it got twisted up in them tornadoes and everything. Won't be very much longer and the cotton will start opening up. Before I do too many lives, I need to go back and find which live it was that I done, where I was in the woods and that wild bird didn't fly off like it normally does, and I caught it on camera over there. Ooh, look at it closer. Identify what it was. Israel's got this, I don't know what it is, what you would call it. It's a software that scans through social media posts and just internet activity and everything. It's like a surveillance software. I was hearing something last night where they're talking about using it on U.S. citizens. Like Israel's over there. I don't know. I don't think this is legal. Maybe it is. I don't know. Seems like there are rules for them. they're spying on Americans to see if Americans are anti-Semitic. The Israeli government is going through all of our posts and everything. It's really crazy how a lot of these Israelis in interviews, you can show them all the starving children, you can show them videos of all kind of war crimes the IDF is committing, and they'll just say it's a lie. They'll just say, oh, that's Hamas propaganda. It's really crazy. They say a completely starved down child see all his ribs and be like, he's got a genetic anomaly. And that it doesn't matter what happens, anything that happens to them, they believe is like the worst thing ever and nothing can compare to it. Like, like you see the Gaza Strip, whole cities leveled in rubble, all kind of women and children killed. And they act like that's proportionate to October 7th. And one of the things you got to keep in mind about October 7th is most of it's a lie. Maybe he's talking about he had a whole year foreknowledge that they were going to do the attack and didn't guard the border, opened it up and let them come in. But then they were talking all these things about decapitated babies, which they never showed. And then later on they admit that it was a lie. And so, supposedly the beheaded babies is what justified leveling the whole strip. Telling people go south and then bombing them there. Go to the refugee camp and bombing them there. Fencing in the aid. Letting them come to the food and then shooting them, using it as bait. Like when the camps were liberated on the Eastern Front in World War II, the German population denied knowledge. They're like, we didn't know they were doing this. But the Israeli population, they are going to the sides and eating barbecues and stuff like that so that the starving Palestinians can smell them eating. So they definitely know it. Are they standing in front of the aid trucks to try to block aid from going in? Which it wouldn't go in anyway. It would just go in and then the Israelis would fence it in so that nobody can really get it. So when China drops it overhead. America's making some huge miscalculations with Ukraine. That's a fiasco. That's absolutely crazy how that went down. Me and my friend Kyle, we had already been keeping up with this stuff for quite a while. So when it happened, we already knew, CIA done regime change in Ukraine. They've been antagonizing Russia for a really long time, building bases all around Russia, putting in all kind of missiles in Europe that can hit Russia, planning on putting them in Ukraine. It was definitely provoked. America was provoking Russia forever. It was like the people left over from the Cold War had a grudge that they just would not get over. They just were peace and trade with Russia and America was what was good for the world. I mean, just indirectly, Nigeria's hurt a lot because of the fertilizer. Just agricultural fertilizers, that supply chain was based on chemicals out of Russia and America and all. And so there's all kind of other people that suffer as a result of trying to bring Ukraine into NATO. And it's like if America was to get Ukraine as a state, it's not as strategically as important to us as it would be if Russia if we didn't have it. It's right on their doorstep. Bush, when Putin first talked about this as being a problem, he was like, okay, we're going to do it. I think they felt like they had to show strength to Russia or something. I don't know what they thought. And Ukraine was one of the most corrupt governments, so they decided to give them tons of money with no oversight. And then they bunch of Ukrainian mob bosses buy a bunch of yachts. And I'm not like, I'm an American. It's not that I'm like against Ukraine or want Russia to conquer Ukraine or whatever, but as far as America's self-interest, there was no point for us to get involved with all that, or us to really put pressure on Ukraine to join NATO. This Zelensky dude is total degenerate. I mean, I don't think he cares for the lives of the Ukrainians at all. I think that he's just loving it. As me, Europeans, as can die as possible, I think he loves it. Him and his whole tribe. I'm not so sure about Putin one way or the other. I don't think he's the devil like the media tries to portray him. But sometimes he got rid of a lot of the oligarchs. He worked with them to come to power and then crossed them and got rid of them to help his people. But then I'm not so sure that I can trust, because it's you're either getting like almost Russian state propaganda news about Russia, or you're getting like legacy media lies about Russia. There's no I don't know what to believe about it. But I really don't think Russia's like the scary Gog and Magog that everybody's got to worry about. Like people are thinking that Russia's some kind of end times prophecy. Like evil nation that's going to unite with Iran. Like John Hagee's been spinning this tale for quite a while, trying to say that Russia's Gog and Magog, which is Gog and Magog war. If you look at Ezekiel and the Bible prophecy, this is something that's like after, like they're trying to place it like a whole almost decade ahead of when it's supposed to happen. But they're trying to say something like there's going to be this Gog and Magog war where Iran and Russia attacks Israel. God supernaturally protects Israel. All the Christians just disappear and go up into heaven. And then there's like 7 years of really bad times and the Antichrist, one world government and all before Jesus comes back. But I see a lot of parallels with the Gog and Magog war of Ezekiel and in Revelation, where it's mentioned again, where after the whole tribulation's over and there's the New Jerusalem and Jesus is reigning, there's the devil's released from his pit to tempt the nations again, and from Gog and Magog and all around they gather the nations to attack the New Jerusalem. And so unless there's two Gog and Magog invasions where Magog is destroyed by God, it's probably after, the whole millennial reign and not before some. I don't believe in pre-trib rapture at all anyway. I don't think the Bible teaches that. I believe it teaches like a second coming of Christ, but I don't believe it teaches a second Christian. Like Jesus said, he prayed to God the Father. He prayed that God not take us out of the world, but protect us from the evil one. And then he said he sent his disciples into the world just like the Father sent him into the world. He comes into the world preaching truth, getting persecuted, and getting crucified. He said, pick up my cross and follow me. In 2 Thessalonians, it talks about the Antichrist being destroyed by the brightness of his coming in the second coming. So how is it that it's some kind of secret rapture 7 years before the tribulation? How are you going to have the tribulation if the Antichrist is destroyed by the brightness of his coming? If it's the day of the Lord? There's just a lot of reasons why. I don't even think the Bible teaches that. But anyway, a lot of people believe it. A lot of politicians believe it. A lot of Texas believes it. A lot of Schofield commentary believes it. And so it's got people treating Russia like they're the devil when they're not. They're like Russian Orthodox, kind of like Greek Orthodox Christians for the most part. They got sizable Muslim population, but it's not like they're an Islamic nation. And then it's kind of like the whole alliance that they're afraid of, they're making happen on accident. It's like because they believe it's prophesized that there's this list of nations that are the bad guys, they go ahead and treat those nations like they are the bad guys. Then those nations are like, oh, we all have a superpower as an enemy. Let's band together. And it sort of just becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy to where they have no choice but to form closer alliances. And then what's really weird is Bush, who calls Russia Gog and Magog and acts like he believes all this. That's like what he chooses as his name in Skull and Bones. My gas light still hasn't come on, and I'm in Daly, so I won't have to stop and get gas. I'll have to get gas soon after I leave work, but not on the way to work. There's a lot of things that they kind of like. People are willing to bend the scripture a lot to try to make a Bible prophecy fulfill something. Sometimes they fit very, 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 very nicely, exactly like in Daniel. And then sometimes people are using the same Bible prophecy every single year to identify somebody as an antichrist or as a... Like, one thing about the Gog and Magog war is that they ride on horses. They have horses and bows. Some people will say, well, motorcycles and machine guns. I'm not so sure about that. It might really just be horses and bows. It may have already happened. They might have said it was going to happen and it didn't happen. That last option's not what anybody's going to really go with. But so, and then we're like, then with all the Ukraine-Russia thing going on, we're like, fuck it, let's open up another front in Iran. Which Iran was already on the list of 7 nations. Remember Wesley Clark come out kind of being a whistleblower and name the 7 nations that they'd already planned to attack when they attacked Iraq. America had a plan to destroy 7 nations that weren't too friendly with Israel and weaken all the nations on Israel's border so Israel could expand. And so they had to like have the whole 9/11 thing and get Americans to believe that there was a foreign threat that had to be annihilated. I remember everybody used to say like a parrot, you know, they'd say, we got to go fight them over there so we don't have to fight them over here. And they said that as if the U.S. Navy didn't exist. Like, how in the hell are they going to come over here? Unless we just like lit them in at the U.S. airport, we just... And then the hijackers, there's a lot of people that look just like the hijackers still alive in different parts of the world. Like they've been spotted in Syria and Israel and Saudi Arabia and here and there. It's almost like they just took some random passports and names and put them on the news and said they were terrorists. But let's say there were some terrorists, you know, misguided men on a plane crashing into the building. That ain't going to bring them towers down. And they tested at the site. It tested for thermite. They totally blew them up. I'm not even sure that a plane, at this point, I'm not even sure that a plane even hit. Maybe a missile. Maybe. Because I know that if maybe a plane did hit. I'm not, you know, maybe somebody was there and they saw the plane. I know on the news, I remember seeing it on the news and seeing the plane on the news, but that could be CGI, that could be all kind of things. That could be Project Bluebeam, where they already sprayed stuff into the sky so they could use it kind of like for holograms. They just, you don't never know. But I know that if like a missile was to crash into a building real fast and everybody was told it was a plane, everybody that saw the missile would be like, I saw a plane. Which it probably, I'm not saying the plane didn't crash. I'm not saying it didn't. I'm just saying they had bombs rigged all up and down on the bottom stories and they blew them up. And the guy that had the building insured always went to work, didn't go to work. There were some Jews that died in 9/11, but most of them got a phone call and got out of there. Most of them didn't show up for work. got the dancing Israelis. It was like a little short memo on the news because they caught the dancing Israelis. They sent them back to Israel. They were there to document it, so they had foreknowledge about it. But the U.S. government was also saying, oh, yeah, we caught a bunch of other Israeli spies. We weren't really paying attention. And we just let them go back. We didn't punish none of them. I'm tired of all these Israelis coming to America to molest children because they know the Israeli government will extradite them and America won't do shit but let them go back to Israel. And then in Israel, they don't even punish them because the Talmud's like, oh, it's okay to rape a non-Jew. We don't see no problem. Free to go. The Vatican does it for the Catholics. Like, if any priest molests a child, the Vatican doesn't believe in the death penalty, so the Vatican just let them go live in the Vatican. Oh, they're going to punish you for that? Here, come live in the Vatican. We forgive you. And Israel does it too. Israel protects all their little Jewish sex offenders, all of them. You know, so many Jews, like Jewish American citizens, will get caught molesting a child and then flee to Israel under the right to return. And instead of Israel being like, no, we don't want you, you're a pedophile, they're like, okay, come here. We would hate to see a Jew tried in a non-Jew court. Come over here. We'll protect you. Oh, hey, Taz. Look, this guy, I screenshotted that last night. I stayed up last night and I went to sleep. And I have remembered. I am going to make a post and try to get you some subscribers. It's like Harry GZ _ Taz. He's asked me to ask my subscribers to subscribe. I'm going to make a post about that. I guess I got to put it on Facebook too. Good morning, by the way. My phone died walking back to the house last night. And then you could hear the coyotes really loud, but I didn't have, my phone wasn't charged up to record it. And then me and Brittany went for a short walk. And then I went to bed. Well, she kept telling me I need to go to bed. I was talking for a while. Oh, my gas light's on now. I'll still make it. I gotta have my gas light on and drive from my house to McCrae and back and then go to Alamo. And it's still. But I probably need to get gas in my cords instead of trying to go all the way to Mount Vernon when I get off of work. It's like HARRYGZ _ Taz is the name in the chat. Is that the same as the name of the channel? Oh, me and Brittany went to the dollar store last night. And they were out of whole milk. And she's like, just buy 2%. That is not a substitution for whole milk. I wasn't going to buy no 2%. And she was kind of surprised that I was really serious. And then they had half gallons of whole milk on the shelf. But it was the same price as the gallon. It is the exact same price. I think it was like $3.80 or 100%. It was like the same price. I'm not a half gallon is a whole gallon. She was kind of surprised by that too. But I was just like, screw it. When I get off work, I'll get milk from one of these other stores on the way home. I used to go over to my granddaddy Browning's house, and he always had whole milk, but it'd always be close dated or out of date or something because they just wouldn't drink the whole gallon up before it went bad. And I don't think they ever switched to buying half gallons. They just kept buying gallons. And so I thought mistakenly, that like 2% milk tasted good and whole milk tasted sour. And Mama bought 2%. Then I tried some whole milk that hadn't gone bad, and it was so good. I never wanted 2% ever again. I'm fasting when I go. I'm going just under 60. But we went to the dollar store, and the police got somebody near the parking lot. I don't know who. I'm almost to work. What time is it? I get here on time. It's 7:25. I got 5 more minutes. Oh, this ain't the road. That building looks like a building up ahead, and sometimes I think I'm almost at work before I am. I still got a little ways to go. Gotta go past the school, and it's almost right after the school to the right. Oh, sorry, this live stream might be a little boring because I don't really know much to talk about. Because I didn't really watch a lot of news too much to fill in up in. I watched that truck. It's good. I didn't really catch up on too much of the news. Spent most of the weekend with Brittany. I didn't even really go out to the property and do much except give the chickens food and water. I've been after work and on the weekends, almost every weekend, going out there and doing stuff out there. And Brittany got to missing me. Brittany was like, she was like, I'm being patient, but like, she wanted me to spend some more time with her. So this Memorial weekend I did. Because if I do high school, there's a turn lane to all pro. Last night somebody told me to get a job because I I was live streaming at night and they just assumed I didn't have a job. I did have work in the morning, but I worked when I was in high school. I worked at Warwick Connect Farm, and then went to Bible college Tuesday and Thursday nights at the same time. And then I went and I worked at Kroger. And I was like 18 or 19. I was already promoted to being a manager, and I was going to Lanier Tech at the same time, full time, that I was working a 40-hour job, full-time work, full-time calling, or trade school, like tech school. Yeah, I worked it. Moved to South Georgia to be with my family, and then I got a job at Piglet for a little while, so I got a job at Husqvarna, or Piggly Wiggly, then Husqvarna, then Piglet, then Cherokee Landscaping Supply, then J&K Creations, then All Pro, and then I had a little pine straw business on the side for a second. But I've always worked. There's only been a short break for me not working when my vehicle was broken. I didn't have a way to work. Then I found a job that would give me a ride to work, and I saved up and bought a truck and went back to going to work. All right, I'm going to get off of this. I'm at work.